Hey guys, how's it going? Today we're going to be going through and replacing the steering wheel on this 370Z. As you can see, I'm not sure if y'all can see, but this car is 10 years old, so the steering wheel is OEM, so it gets kind of worn right here where my hand usually is, especially up right here on the top where the sun's always beating down on it, and right here. So I actually picked up another OEM wheel right here. It's not brand new, it's slightly used. This is the only really bad spot on it, but other than that, it's in a lot better condition than what I'm currently using, so we're gonna go through and replace it. And this is actually a pretty simple install, so let's go ahead and get into it. Alright guys, before we get started, this is everything we're gonna need to do this install. Obviously, we're gonna need our steering wheel right here. This, like I said, this is the OEM steering wheel, just newer. You are gonna need a screwdriver, and this is a T30 Torx bit, but you want to be sure it has this little hole right here in the middle, because if you try using a regular Torx bit, it's not going to work. We're also going to need a torque wrench that goes up to 30 foot-pounds, which we have right here. A breaker bar with a 19mm socket on it. We're going to need a 10mm socket to disconnect the battery. And then you don't need this, but I'm going to use it because I spent 80 bucks on this thing and rarely get to use it, but we're going to need a torque wrench that can go to 10 foot-pounds, or in this case 120 inch-pounds. Divide it by 12 and you get 10. But that's all we're going to need, so let's go ahead and get started. So before we actually disconnect remove the steering wheel, we're going to disconnect the battery. So the latch is right here on the footwell. And you want to come into the engine bay so we can disconnect the battery. When disconnecting your battery, you want to come over here to the passenger side over in the US, and this is where our 10mm is going to come in handy. When disconnecting your battery, you want to do it with the negative terminal first, or the ground, or whatever you want to call it. Nice and loose, and you're going to want to remove it and tuck it away so it doesn't have any chance of touching that terminal. Then you're going to want to come over to your positive and remove it just to be safe. Get it nice and loose. And then this as well. Take it off, put that little plastic piece back over it, and then boom, it can't touch that terminal. We're good to go. So I forgot to mention it. We're here in the car. We're about to get ready to remove the steering wheel. But when you disconnect the battery, you're going to want to let it sit. Most people say about 5 minutes, but I'm going to be cautious and just do 10 minutes just to be safe. But you want to let it sit to let any kind of electrical current, any kind of electricity in the system to dissipate. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Alright, so we've gone ahead and let the car sit with the battery disconnected for about 15 minutes now. So we're going to go ahead and remove the steering wheel. And the first thing you want to do is actually remove 2 screws on the side. They have these little black caps on them. Put them somewhere you're not going to lose these little black caps. You know, cup holder I should do, wherever. And then you want to remove the screws using that that T30 security Torx bit. both of those screws are removed, you can remove your airbag. Let's go ahead and remove those 2 wires right there from that little clip. So you have your 2 airbag connectors right here, and then your audio, all the other steering control connectors right here. To do this one, there's a little tab right there in the middle. Push it in and just pull it out. Easy. For these ones, you're gonna want to pull up, I believe on this little black piece. There you go. There is your airbag. Now we just gotta remove the actual steering wheel itself, which is where you want to use your 19mm and preferably a breaker bar. So once you get that nut off, you actually want to put it back on just a few threads because you're going to want to wiggle the steering wheel off. Oh, never mind, it just comes right off. If you do have a hard time getting your steering wheel off, put this on 2 to 3 threads, maybe even a little bit more. That way whenever you wiggle it off, it doesn't come flying at you in the face, because that's the last thing you want to do is hurt yourself while doing something as simple as a steering wheel. All right. Feed those 2 wires through, and we have our nasty 10-year-old steering wheel compared to our new one. So, all right, so we're about to go through and put on the steering wheel. When you do so, you want to make sure that the little line right in there aligns with the line on the steering column right there. Also, if you look right here on the spring, the clock spring, on the clock spring, there's this little white nipple kind of looking thing right there. You want that to go right there. This shouldn't be too hard. If you have problems with this, I can't help you with that. So feed the 2 wires that go into the airbag right through here, like so. You want to make sure that little white nipple lines up, and you can tell it does because the connectors will also be in line. Now, you want this to line up. Ta-da! Line, line. It's in line, so that should be good right there. Actually, you know what? That might be off just 1. No, that was good the way it was. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, so once we have that on, we're going to take our thread locker, and I am going to thread lock this because I am not taking any chances of my steering wheel coming off while I am driving. That's me though. Y'all can do whatever you want. Put on a little bit right there, threads. Boom. And put it on. Once it's on there nice and tight, using whatever you're using, whether a ratchet or a breaker bar, you're going to want to torque it down into 30 foot-pounds, which is what we're about to do. So that's nice and torqued down. And then from there, that's on there. So what we're gonna wanna do is take our airbag and we wanna connect everything back up the way it was. So we're gonna take these 2 wires and feed them into this little clip. And if you haven't passed kindergarten, the orange connector goes into the orange one. The yellow goes into the yellow. So put the orange one in. Once it's in, push the black tab down. Same thing with the yellow. Push it in. If we can get it to connect, there we go. Put the yellow in, push the black tab down. From there, take this connector for the steering controls, connect it in. That everything is back in and back connected, so you just want to put it back on. Look at that. Looks so much better. Ah, not as used. So we're just gonna put these back on. I'm not worried about these coming off, honestly, so I'm not gonna worry about thread locking these. But now you want to put on the 2 security screws that hold your airbag and all the controls nice and on. We're going to do it hand tight first, or just nice and snug with the ratchet, and then from there we are going to torque them down to 10 foot-pounds. Once those are nice and snug, we're going to take our inch-pound torque wrench and tighten these down, because now that everything is nice and tight, back on where it should be, all you gotta do is put on these black little caps. Don't lose them, because they're probably not, I mean, they're probably easy to find, but God, who knows how much they charge you online for these things. $5 a pop, probably. Boom, like that. Back on. Everything's back together. All we gotta do is reconnect our battery. That's the wrong thing. Reconnect our battery and then turn on, make sure it doesn't go off. So when connecting your battery, you want it to be positive first. And negative last. Okay, there we go. Battery's connected. Put that back on. And now we're just gonna start it and make sure nothing bad happens. Over there, that's fine. Keys in the driver's seat. I'm sitting off to the side. Look at that. fine. Sweet. Ugh.